Hey, Kliq This fans, want to get closer to the show than ever? Join Kliq This TV. Kliq This TV offers early commercial-free access to wrestling's hottest podcast, plus live audience tapings of their show every friggin' week, and your chance to participate with Kevin and Sean in the monthly Nash and Friends watch-along show. Head to kliqthisTV.com now and get inside the show that's just too sweet.
The following podcast contained mature language and adult discussion.
Hoping Kevin is here and not in some subterranean tin can.
My check didn't clear.
Submerged. There he is.
Yeah.
The 250. He wrote that 250 to
What the fuck,
OceanGate.
I don't get it. There were so many times when I had long hair and people would be like, "What kind of bike do you ride?" I'm like, "No, I don't ride a bike. Like, I don't do anything that's
Gonna kill you?
yeah. No, I mean that increases the, you know."
Yeah, I'm an odds guy.
Yeah, me
always
too.
Looking at the odds.
When hey, I got an idea. Let's go down 13,000 feet in the ocean in a converted Chevy Lumina van and get bolted in from the outside so you can't get out. Once you're in it, you're bolted in the thing. And then there's nothing basically on the planet besides this Chevy Lumina van that you're getting in and getting dropped in the bottom of the ocean that can retrieve you.
Yeah, I mean, of the people on board, I know one was like an expert. I guess like a Titanic expert. So I guess for him it was research. I guess he was the French diver, Paul-Henri Nogalet. See that thing? I feel like that's something like you get your kids to go in the lake with or something.
I was a huge Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea fan when I was a kid. I mean, that doesn't look like the flying sub to me. I'm sorry. That looks like when they walk in and Pony Boy's in the fucking iron lung on the Outsiders.
Yeah, a little Outsiders action there.
Yeah, looks like fucking something fucking Pony Boy would be in.
Yeah, that's the OceanGate. Well, as of this recording, I think they have about 12 hours of oxygen left, but there's been
God bless them, man. I hope there's a miracle.
Yeah.
I mean, those 4 Colombian kids, you know, they had a miracle crashing, you know, in the jungle and somebody finding them. So
Yeah.
maybe it's, you know.
There's noise. They're detecting. The Coast Guard has clarified that they don't know the source of it, but they are picking up banging sounds every 30 minutes, and then like 4 hours later on Wednesday. So they deployed some additional sonar devices. So they're still working actively, and hopefully the 4 people will be. Is it 4?
5.
5. Hopefully they'll be extracted safely.
My whole thing is, so you go out, you know, you go, the Titanic is like 400 nautical miles from Nova Scotia. Now, anything that can pull that thing up it's not going to be, you know, a Miami Vice 90-foot cigarette with, you know,
Right.
eight 1200s on the back going 125 miles. You know, it's going to be some Jacques Cousteau fucking, you know, going across at 22 knots
Yeah.
So right there, you're taking 10 hours to get. Yeah.
See, I'm claustrophobic as it is. You could not pay me enough money to sit in that fucking thing for a half hour.
Let alone take 250K out of my account.
Right.
To go
Paying
down, and the whole thing is just like, I have watched several different documentaries and shows and everything else, and they have shown with unmanned apparatus the Titanic. They've showed it how it's laying right now, what it looks like, and
I'm fine with that.
I'm good with that. That's my Titanic experience. I can hit pause and take a piss. I mean, it's like I don't get it.
Yeah.
$250,000 is a lot of money to. I mean, go buy a supercar.
Well,
a used one.
It's obviously for people that 250 isn't even a dent in any way, and it's to be able to say, as we know, this is to be able to say I saw the Titanic in person, or in person through a camera, I guess, or the front is glass, I guess, right?
I don't know.
Front is glass, I thought.
Is that really that big of a?
Not for me.
Yeah, it'd be one thing
Not worth
if it
risking
was,
it.
All
right, so they could see through that little porthole. Not doing it. Not jumping out of a plane.
Nope.
I'm not. Let me see.
I'm not
swimming with sharks.
I'm not going up in anybody's SpaceX, something that has a chance of exploding.
We've been given really clear-cut rules by whatever deity you believe. We don't fly. We don't live underwater. We don't move 120 miles per hour. Some basic rules that if we follow, odds are in our favor that something else will get us. So, if you want to be a douchebag and do that stuff, no. When I hear stories about ridiculous accidents gone wrong, people doing things they shouldn't do, I don't have much sympathy.
It's just like, you know what? Let's go. Let's. You know what? You want to go for a hike? No, I want to go on top of Mount Everest where there's no oxygen. It's like freezing cold. Like I want to go someplace like that.
I don't know. Well, I do feel badly for these people. I want to exclude them from my.
No, I do too. I don't,
because they were probably sold this whole safe journey, and I don't think they realized the day. I mean, you go
one
under,
of them
you
has
come back up, right? It's
one of them's like
he's
I think a Brit, and he's
the
already
explorer.
he
Hamish
went up.
Harding.
He went up on. He's already went up on one of the spacecrafts.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
WWEDXECW.
19-year-old is a student.
So then, 19's a student in college. Is that the son of the Pakistani businessman's son? I guess Suleiman Dawood is the 19-year-old's name. So I guess he's a. Well, I hope they're all found. I hope they're all brought up. We'll have an update tomorrow, I guess, but you will not be on the air with us.
No, but I don't think that one was thought out too well.
No. Josh Zembauer has reached out to us as feedback from last week's show. He says, I'll say it again. I love it when Kevin sings. Mr. Nash, please know there are thousands of us out here in the ether, rooting for you in everything, just rooting for you to find some sense of peace. We're here for you. I got to say, Kevin, I went through these comments. There was a ton. Did you notice a ton of just positive, supportive? Last week we touched on T's birthday, so
then I did that, and then went right into Father's Day. So it was just went right into Sunday into Father's Day. So I just.
But I was really floored by how many people reached out to you in a very supportive way, similar to last year, but again, they're still here, and I think
a lot of people though, it's it's inevitable. We're all going to have, we're all going to have traumatic loss in our lives. And pull this over here. I just think that like I saw a couple of people that just said that they're going through shit right now, and it's just nice for me to,
Yeah.
just to. But we're all going to be there sooner or later.
But the show just it resonates. It's beyond. I mean, we're in a
Well,
space like I look Unchartable, right? And we share the space with Jim Cornette and Busted Open, Bubba Ray.
We got a different. We're more of a. I think our show's completely different. I think our audience is completely different.
Of course.
It's just that's why it really doesn't.
There's no equivalent to us. You can't be judged by that yardstick.
Or the people that listen to us.
Correct.
Our crew, our crew's our crew.
MMN says, cooking dinner, can listen to you guys talk about anything all night. Great job. What did you make, MMN? You didn't provide pictures. You didn't go into
sleeping
detail.
Pills and Xanax pie.
Apparently that's what we were on last week, according to one dick. John Morgan says, the rabbit hole into the sovereign citizen thing, that is the most entertaining stuff to watch late at night, stoned as hell. Much love to you all always watching. We touched on that, the police video.
I watched one the other day. This guy is like in Wyoming. And so they pull him over. It comes up and the guy has got his window cracked this far. And he's got a sheriff and a couple other guys out there. They pulled him over. He's got no tags. He doesn't have a driver's license. And he's given the guy's passport. And they keep telling him to get out of the car. And one guy comes up and tries to strong arm him and says, if you don't get out of that car, I'm going to break the window and I'm going to pull you out. He said, well, sir, he says, you do that and we'll be having a shootout here on the side of the road. And so every time he states something, this particular one that I was watching goes into the breakdown, and it just says, like, right, read the screen of because of this, and most of these things are all constitutional rights, and it's one of those deals where because. Like, he was telling them that he didn't have to have a driver's license,
right,
or he didn't have to have a tag, because he was stating the reasons, and it went back to the fact that the police officers are basically contract workers for their municipalities, and their job is to go out and collect revenue. And that's what a driver's license is, and he had a passport, which is a United States ID. So it went on and on and on, and and finally they got on the phone and were talking to somebody, and I guess they were relaying the shit back and forth, and I think the person on the phone said, like, this guy knows the, he knows the bank code to the Illuminati's, and they just, next thing you know, man, they're handing him his passport, and away he drove.
You're kidding.
No. But it's like there was another one. I don't know if he was either Indian or Pakistani. But you couldn't see him because he was filming it himself. Mm-hmm. And the guy's telling him, like, he wants him to get out of the car. He goes, "Why do I have to get out of the car?" He says, "You were following. You're getting a citation because you were following too closely behind that semi." He goes, well, what exactly, is the law? Like, how far is too closely?
Right.
And the guy couldn't give it to him. And then he says, I need you to come out uh, so he comes to the front. He says, I need you to come out and come to the front of your car, which you don't have to do because you're not being arrested. So if you're stopped for a traffic citation, then when you're stopped, the first thing you do is say, why am I being withheld? Like, why did you pull me over? And if they say you were speeding, then you say, okay. And at that point, if they ask you for driver's license, proof of insurance, registration, that's all within that, because he needs those things, to do his. But as soon as he says get out of the car, no, you don't have to do that because you're not being arrested. It's like, write me the fucking ticket so I can go on my way. And here's one of the greatest things of this little rabbit hole I fell into. They always say that they want to give you a field sobriety test. There is no such thing as a pass-fail in a field sobriety test. All you're doing is helping the police officer build his case against you. You don't have to do that. There's a couple of states that if you refuse to do the field sobriety test, that they will suspend your license. You'll have to go to court to get it unsuspended, but they won't.
Can't you be arrested for refusal?
No. Because the whole thing is like the guy that they pulled over, he said, finally he got a supervisor there, and then the guy went off on him. He's like, this asshole, and because the officer kept getting like in his face. He said, could you back away? Can you get back? Get you back off? He said, no. Well, all this shit's on the guy's body cam. So he just when the supervisor came, he got the supervisor's badge number and last name, and he just basically said that I would be subpoenaing the officer's body cam and his dash cam. And there was another guy that they took him. He blew 000,
right?
And he still got a DUI.
But how's that possible?
Well, I guess you could be under the influence of cannabis. You wouldn't blow anything.
Oh, right. Under the influence doesn't mean alcohol.
He didn't do a field sobriety, and there was nothing. They just and this is like something that just goes on. It's an ongoing thing. Like they had like 11 cases in this town of people that basically, just got their shit fucked up just because somebody, one of the officers, and it was a revenue situation. Like they were basically told to go out and arrest people, like just get as many people in as possible for revenue.
So, will there soon be, and I'm honestly asking, there has to be something in the works, some kind of test to determine like THC levels, or, I mean, short of a blood test?
Well, but cannabis can't. See, the thing with cannabis is cannabis can be, depending on your body fat, it can be in your system for 30 days.
That's true. It wouldn't prove impairment at the time of being pulled over. And that's tricky.
So,
it can be a tricky one.
Yeah, so that's number one. If you're stoned and they tell you you're speeding, they're bullshitting you. I don't know too many people that are stoned that are
moving fast.
Yeah, it's like I remember one time I was coming back from wrestling practice, and I wasn't driving. My buddy was, and we were baked, and we get blue lit on I-75 going towards Atlanta. We're going north on 75 into Atlanta. And I had to go back to the strip club and get my tip out. and then my car was parked there. So we go back and we get pulled over, and the police officer walks up, and my buddy Todd puts his window down. He says, "Do you know how fast you're going?" He goes, 70. He goes, "Try 28."
Been there.
I was like, "Wow, like that, a boy."
Clayton Meeks says, Coffee's Gym. Hell yeah. I trained and competed for John's, talk about a character, Olympic lifting team. Would go to that World's Gym for cardio and girls. Used to see Rick Steiner at the World's Gym.
Rick always trained at Coffee's.
That's what he said, Coffee's Gym.
No, he said, I'd see Rick at fucking Worlds. Rick was always at Coffee's.
Oh, I'd see Rick at Worlds. Okay, right.
You see Rick. Rick and Scotty were always at Coffee's. The thing was, John just passed. I mean, within maybe the last 4 or 5 months. And he had a women's group in that gym. Like Colleen Coffee was in there. It's several. They beat the Chinese national team with a group of women from the gym in a powerlifting contest.
Like locals from the gym?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. We had at that time Dave Passanella was one of the first guys to squat 1,000 pounds. We had Curtis Leslie was in there. We had a bunch of just world-class power lifters. Tony Pearson trained there, who was a pro bodybuilder. A bunch of the boys trained there.
What city is that in?
It was in Marietta.
Okay.
And then it closed and got moved someplace. I think it still moved. It just moved out of that, I think it was called Franklin Plaza, a little strip place there, little strip mall. It moved out of there. I'm pretty sure it was called Franklin. I trained there for probably, I'd say 4 or 5 years.
When you were down there, in Georgia.
Then I moved over to where it was called La Park, and it was a condominium unit that somehow went belly up and turned into rentals. So my wife and I had a 2-bedroom there, but that was like Barry Windham and Mike Graham had like the penthouse. Johnny B. Bad, Mark Merrow, but Johnny B. Bad at that time. Robert Fuller lived there. The Armstrongs, Tex and Mark lived there.
Those wrestling complexes.
Yeah, it was like
overtaken.
it was, and that was when Mark was married to Rainey, Brock's Mrs. Lesnar, yes.
Tizzy Tank 579.
But you could walk to Luger and Sting's gym from our parking lot. Like you just had to walk up a little hill and you were right at Main Event Fitness. So it was like you couldn't beat it.
How many workers own fucking gyms? You had of the more prominent ones. You had
Flair,
Hawk and Animal, right? They had the one up in Minnesota.
Flair had some Gold's gyms.
Yeah.
Let me think. Somebody told me that Hulk was thinking about opening a gym down the Clearwater area.
Would make sense.
Yeah.
More consistent with the brand than karaoke, one would think. Or maybe both.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm not a karaoke guy, but I might have to go down there and sing a couple of ballads one day.
Well, please let me know when that's happening so I can get video for the show. Tizzy Tank 579. 2 things with grilled cheese. 1, substitute butter or margarine for mayonnaise. 2, always put a piece of ham, bologna, even some hash works with an over easy egg. Thank me later. P.S. Side of hash brown.
Not a sandwich guy.
Not a sandwich. King Ermeshi. The manufacturing specs for Rolls-Royce are barely better than the standard. You're paying an absolute premium for basically the same thing you would get for a Ford or a Toyota, et cetera, et cetera. The specs are so ridiculous as well that what inspectors look for are largely unnecessary. Happy birthday, T. Now, this is all German to me. So he's saying that when he says the specs...
But Rolls-Royce are handmade, where everything else is being built on an assembly.
But the manufacturing specs for Rolls-Royce. So this means the physical construction of the car? Or are you saying like standards? Let's see. Comparing specifications of a Rolls-Royce and a Ford, we find some differences between the two vehicles. However, it is important to note that the models being compared... Is this Chat GPT, for Christ's sake?
Okay, so we got size according to... well, I would hope that if a pickup truck is larger than a sedan. Power, Rolls-Royce V12 is 563. The Hellcat's got 700. Engine...
Mustang is how many? 401?
Well, yeah. I think that's just but that's not a Coyote. I think that's the just
GT Fastback, it says.
Yeah, but that's, those are, you can buy all kind of different engines now for everything. Price of Rolls-Royce goes, if you hire that or afford it. Yeah, fucking Rolls-Royce. Rolls-Royce is a $400,000 hand-built car.
There's the biggest spec right there.
Right.
Price.
I'll tell you that. I promise you this: the specs might be the same, but the amount of the quality of ass sitting in the fucking passenger seat is going to be much higher in a Rolls-Royce Fathom than it will be a Ford Probe. I promise you. I promise you that.
Yeah.
If you have any game.
Damon Scarface says that a 1959 Chateau Lafite-Rothschild Bordeaux, 750 milliliters, TS and MS fills. I don't know what that is. You'll tell me. Provenance guaranteed. In stock, regular price $5,250 for Kevin. So I guess they're sending you the listing of the 1959 Chateau.
Oh, that's nice. Well, I'm not spending $5,000 on a bottle of wine unless I'm going underneath the fucking to see the Titanic, where I can be $250,000 in.
You'd save $245,000 if you went for the Bordeaux instead of the trip 10,000 leagues under the 20,000 leagues under the sea. So there it is. So that's the actual price, $5,250. We found the actual listing. You're not curious.
What year is that?
1959.
Ah, my birth year.
This is a sign.
It's a 64-year-old bottle of fucking wine.
Now, is there any chance when you spend that money, is there any chance that it was not cared for properly? And like that the cork dried out, it wasn't laid at the proper angle? What are the odds that you'd get screwed?
I think zero.
I guess that's the provenance guaranteed part of it.
I would think zero.
Well, it's there if ever you change your mind.
No, I'm just not that guy.
It's available.
I'll spend $71 on a bottle of Camus.
I do like the Camus.
Yeah.
The Cabernet. The Cab.
Yeah, it's I've never had a bad bottle. You're not gonna, I don't drink to get a buzz. I drink for the taste. So man, I don't care how good it tastes. It's at that price. That price I better come when it fucking hits the back of my tongue.
11 times. I mean, it's
just
better come when it hits the back of my tongue. Sentences you probably never said before this podcast. CM Punk was all over the news.
That's 50 bottles of Camus.
It's 50 bottles of Camus, exactly.
Yeah. Easily two cases of Camus.
Hey everybody, this is Ian Riccaboni, the voice of Ring of Honor Wrestling. Stay with Conrad, they were very appreciative of my time and they really worked with my schedule. Conrad's team met me at the hours that I needed to meet them to walk through the specifics. The paperwork was clear, the communication was clear to make the decision super easy to work with. So we actually went from a 30-year mortgage, we refinanced down to a 15-year mortgage, and now our house is going to be paid by the time the kids go to college. If you want to save like I did and like Nick Aldis did and so many others in the professional wrestling world, please go to savewithconrad.com.
NMLS number 65084, equal housing lender. Woo!
It's savewithconrad.com.
CM Punk all over the news this week, right? I mean, there was
I actually saw where he took this off the microphone.
Right.
Okay. Go
like
out.
You did.
I did it every time I went to the ring at WCW. I hate this fucking thing on the microphone.
You really do, don't you?
I absolutely hate it. I always take it off. It's not in any form or fashion me trying to make some kind of power move that I don't work for the company. It's just...
See, I would have preferred to think it was that. Why did you just do that? I would have preferred to think it was something like that.
No, because it's... Have you ever seen like a lead singer from a band go up there and it's a Ticketmaster on the fucking microphone?
See, so you're making a point. It is making a point.
But it's like you're doing your shit, you know?
Anyone who doesn't know what he's talking about, he's talking about the little box, the flag that goes around the...
So you're standing like, this is what you're like this. So you got your microphone. And then you got the gimmick in it like this. Right. And then you're talking, you got this fucking thing. So now you got this is what you got going. And this gets annoying as fuck when you want to fucking, you want to do stand-up. Yeah, that's like fucking... Number one, that's like, hey, Phil, you've got 10 minutes. All right, if I got 10 minutes, let me get this fucking thing out of my way.
So lest anyone think he was making any kind of statement, he apparently did it in WWE as well.
And I've done it my whole life.
So it's a thing. Okay.
It may be a fucking degree of OCD. Like just something where it's obtrusive. It's. Hey, I got an idea. I'm going to give you a microphone and put a Rubik's Cube underneath it. Okay.
All right. Well, so question answered. It's probably not a political statement.
I hate to, and Phil, if I'm wrong, fucking tell me I'm wrong, but I'm quite sure you just find it as annoying as I did.
Right. This was the promo that everyone was tuning in for, right? This was the reason for all the bullshit we've been talking about for the last month with, is he going to be there? Is he not going to be there? And kind of teasing, not showing since the press conference fracas months ago. And a fine promo. Great. I think it did its job. Definitely. I was pretty psyched about their licensing the Elton John Saturday Night's All Right for Fighting as the theme song for Collision, rather than a lot of the the generic company.
But they use
music.
a lot. They use Jungle Boy comes down to they use a lot of just drop music.
Yeah, I feel like entrance music is different than
don't you think
the show's theme.
I think that one of the and maybe I'm wrong, but Punk's music at WWE was huge because everybody else, like he was the only guy that had
Living Color, a real song.
When he came out of the Cult for it was just like that was huge. It's huge when you come out to somebody. I remember back in the day when I was a mark and I'd go to the Omni, and it'd be the Road Warriors versus the Steiners, and
Iron
you'd
Man.
hear like, then out they'd come, and then you hear "Welcome to the Jungle." Little Axl Rose, and then out would come the Steiner brothers to "Welcome to the Jungle."
It's true.
I mean, everybody came out to their shit. I think me and Scott, I remember Conan putting it over. The first time we did a house show with Conan, we came out to the Fugees. He was like, "Fucking all right, man. Like, good for you guys."
Yeah, that is an element of cool that's gone for the most part. So I was excited to see it come back. And you get that right song, that right opening. Like you mentioned Iron Man from Sabbath, that opening chord, tremendous match, totally matched their brand. JYD's Another One Bites the Dust. Just those opening bars that would ignite the crowd. And yeah, Living Color similarly. But I love that the theme song that'll play under the if they're going to continue with that, I assume they are. Why would they have only done it for 1 week? Was the Elton John song? I thought that was kind of cool. My question to you, Kevin,
as long as it's not Philadelphia fucking Freedom.
Yeah,
I fucking hate that song.
Empty Garden would be a little bit of a downer. Singing about the John Lennon loss. All right, you were a pop, you were a champion, you worked in the ring, but your promos, right, NWO promos, were the highlight of the show, that 9 o'clock slot on TNT during the Monday Night Wars. You guys were able to do that every week. The faction, there were enough of you come out and do that and keep that interesting.
Right.
Punk's not going to be able to do the opening 10-minute promo for 6 months, right? It's going to
be very difficult.
We're going to run out of gas, and so we have to mix it up a little. They're doing the thing with him and Samoa Joe, which I think is very cool, because I didn't realize it myself that they hadn't been in a ring.
I didn't
since like 2002.
Actually, you made that point to me. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So and I was excited to see that the crowd was in tune to that as well. Are you hanging too much on the CM Punk thing? You got to ride the wave while it's hot, obviously. But you have to be thinking out, right? You got to be projecting out weeks, months. And will the in-ring work be able to meet the excitement of the promo? That's the question I ask myself when I watch.
Did you watch Dynamite on last Wednesday?
I didn't watch Dynamite. No, I caught Collision.
Okay, so the first match was a championship match, and it was Cole versus our boy. And it started out and it felt like a house show match. And I was kind of like, wow, and then as time went on, false finishes, and I'll be damned, I didn't pay attention, wasn't paying attention, but I knew they were putting time in, and then Cole got his shoulders on it, his 1, 2, and they ring the bell. And I'm like, what the fuck are they doing? Time limit. It was a 30-minute time limit, and I was like, fuck yes.
Yeah.
Like, you got me. Like, that was, and then it was just like, and Cole stands up and says, no, he's actually like, he's because he's tired. He's kneeling. He's on his knees. Well, I can't even know how anybody can sit like that. He was like sitting on his knees, like leaning back. Both my knees came out of the skin, but
just trying to simulate it right there. I saw.
Yeah, just But he said, 5 more minutes. In fact, he just rolled out like, fuck you. Like, no. And it was just like, that was good TV, I thought. I thought that's the best thing I saw. I knew that Bronson wasn't going to beat Seth on NXT. I knew that wasn't going to happen. But
the Collision show I thought was very watchable. I was pleasantly surprised. Oftentimes,
2 hours is huge.
Yes.
You know, the 2 hour the 2 hour commitment. You know, like you do you have Netflix?
Yeah, I have Netflix. Where do you think I watch Suits? So you're
Gotta watch
drinking out of a
Suits.
cowbell tonight, I think. Is this?
More cowbell.
Yeah.
It's got the
Stir thing in there.
the gimmick in it. I've got so much. I was saying earlier, because I do TRT, it's been. I was actually 3 weeks over for my blood dump, so I had to go get. You know, they have to drain 500 milliliters of blood because TRT, the testosterone replacement therapy, will make your red levels too high. Your red blood count gets high.
Okay.
And it makes you kind of lethargic. I can feel it, and I have a negative blood anyway, which is like motor oil. So when I couldn't get in till 3 o'clock. So and I wanted to get my full panels done. So I didn't eat after midnight, and I went till 3 o'clock this afternoon, and I hadn't had anything. You know, no coffee. I had a couple sips of water. And it was like, fuck, man. I gave that blood and I sat in my car. And in my mind, I'm thinking, I'm going to go train chest today. You know, go pound chest. I barely scrambled into a Waffle House and had a chicken breast and a couple eggs over easy and some hash browns. I came home and Tamara just looked at me. She goes, "You all right?" I'm like, "Phew." I said, that was, I can't go. I can't go 8 hours without eating.
Well, how long are you supposed to fast?
I
It was
think,
just because your appointment was so late. If you could go at 8 o'clock in the morning, you would have been all right.
Yeah, but then I would
have to wake up.
Yeah, that's
needs that.
I ain't doing that. Though we do right now. We've got. So I walked in here today, and yesterday the cleaning crew was in the condo. So this place is like spotless. Floors, everything. All the mirrors. I mean, there's no dust on the. There's no dust. I mean, it's just completely. The windows have been done, looking out at the ocean. So it's. But I've got my my fix-em guy. Actually, Steve was one of the guys that built onto the addition of my house. But he can do anything, and he's kind of going through the house and, you know, little tiny things like where you've moved something and you've knocked a piece of the crown molding and it's got a big dent in it. Like he's cutting that piece out and matching it, and, you know, like everything that's there's a blemish in the house, like your pantry door. It doesn't matter how many times you clean your pantry door with different kind of cleansers, just the wear and tear.
Yeah, it's hand traffic.
Yeah, you know, just so all those doors are taken down and sanded and painted, and just bit by bit the house is slowly, coming around. So just to listen to my dog every day at 10 o'clock when he shows up, bark for fucking an hour nonstop.
What did Steve think of the CM Punk promo? Just trying to bring it back.
What did Steve think about the CM Punk thing?
Yeah, I'm just trying to bring it back.
I thought we were done with it.
No, I have one more thing. He did something after the broadcast.
Oh, okay. I wasn't aware of this. You brought this up to me.
Yeah, it is Pride Month.
Yes.
So Punk held up a sign that read, Steve, you bring up the tweet I sent you. Support LGBTQ youth. And so that was after the broadcast, but it was carried on Twitter and other outlets. So Dutch Mantel sends out a provocative tweet. Maybe he knows what he's doing and he's not being a tool. But Dutch's tweet of Punk's sign reads as follows. Is this a wise move involving a political issue on a wrestling show? I guess the issue that Bud Light and Target have had with the LGBTQ topic has not reached AEW. Well, that would suggest that it's right. So, this shot didn't make the show, but the still photo is there. Comments. So he kind of opened it, so maybe he just wanted to be engaged in conversation. But I just thought reference to Bud Light.
Read the first the first answer. Human rights shouldn't be political.
Correct.
I mean, that's boom. Next, you just got you fucking lobbed it out there, and you just took a fucking a forehand right to the forehead.
So Dutch replies. I think it's Dutch's reply. Then why is it? So he engages. But point
then
being,
why is it? Then why is it what?
Then why is it?
It's not political to me.
I think he's asking why it's a human rights issue, right? No, then why?
No, he's asking why is it political?
People took to Punk's defense, and Dutch kind of argued it a little too vehemently.
It's almost the thing that I put on my Instagram when it had 10 items. And it said, you're woke if, and it had 10 items. And I said, well, I guess I'm woke then. And I got so many, number 11 is, number 12, like all these add-ons and all these other things to make it, to make it their agenda.
Right.
And it's just like, if I go through those 10 things right there, it's like, I don't know. You embrace science. Oh yeah, did you embrace that fucking that vaccination? You know what? You go ahead and vote for fucking Robert Kennedy Jr. Then you jump on the anti-vax thing. Do what you want to do. I've had so many people tell me the reason my son had a cardiac arrest is because he was vaccinated. Speaking to someone who has had COVID 4 fucking times, I don't know.
Did you see that I sent you a DM on Instagram from a military guy who served after 9/11, went into Afghanistan, 22-year military veteran. He said, I fought to defend this country from religious ideology being turned against people. He said, I went into a country that didn't let women vote, read, treated them like less than citizens. He said, I'll be damned if my son's school is going to tell him what he's allowed to read and what he's not allowed to read. This was at a public speaking.
He said, that's my job.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I read in my youth, Catcher the Rye, To Kill a Mockingbird.
Sure.
Those were just, and they were back then. They were required reading.
Yeah.
And I don't remember, so I'm a boomer, and I don't think that when people think about the boomers, they think of, boy, there's the woke crew.
No, generally the opposite.
Right. Because, and I watched DeSantis the other day do a promo. He was in another state. He might have been in Utah. If it was fucking Pee-wee's Funhouse and the word was woke, I mean, it's just, you couldn't have said it more times.
Right.
Like fucking conky.
It's
Anybody ever watch that fucking show now? Like Pee-wee's Funhouse? Watch that motherfucker baked.
Oh, yeah, I'd imagine, yeah. But the term has become a general application for what used to be liberal. There's no sting in accusing someone of being a liberal anymore. So the sting is to use that word woke now, that like a weapon.
And my whole thing is, they had there was a thing the other day. They had all these different situations where, like, it's like the woman that transitioned that like went to, I think, the University of Pennsylvania, became a swimmer, and she set some kind of a record. And it's really simple. It's like when people go into the bathroom situation, it's like, number one, either have a unisex bathroom,
Right.
and then have a trans division in sports. Just have a trans division.
I don't think that's ever going to happen, though. I don't know. Would you have enough participation? Well, in individual sports, maybe, right?
Yeah.
Its own category.
I mean,
but look, I do think that the swinging pendulum that touches left and right, I think it goes too far. What they're calling woke, which is just this basket that they throw into now, do see some stuff that I find annoying sometimes, and I think that the term equality or diversity has been bastardized a little. I think most people can get a keen sense of what's a diverse situation and what isn't.
right.
But to a lot of people, diverse means my people, not yours, which is not really diversity. Representation, I guess, would be a better term. I believe in representation, and as close to a balance as you can get. But I think we go a little crazy. I think it's
Well,
I
it's
do
like,
feel a pressure.
I was watching the thing, and they were talking about to me, like, I've gotten to the point in my life right now when someone says to me, "What do you think about Governor DeSantis?" Because I live in Florida.
Mhm.
And I say, I couldn't vote for him with a clear conscience because we're so far apart on just woman right issues, that alone.
Mm-hmm.
That's just, and there's no reason for me to go into anything else, because when you have people that their talking point is, "Oh, I heard in California they were going to let people go term, then do the abortion," and the person said, "No, that's murder. You can't have the
Correct.
child and then kill it." It's like, and when you look, and I think that the youngest embryo to ever successfully make it is like 27, 28 months. Steve, help me out. Like the youngest,
To be delivered.
that it was born of some, and I think it's like 27 weeks, and that's it. And that was like that's one.
Mm-hmm.
So at that point, it's just like, and they're saying, "No, it's just, I'm sorry, man, but life does not start at conception."
Well, I mean, that's the belief in a very large contingent of that.
Yeah.
And I don't. Again,
And
this
then,
isn't-
and then at the same time, they will say, that's, and they'll use the term God. And I sit on a daily basis and see just the atrocities that happen on a daily basis. And I'm like, so if God is against abortion at any time, then shouldn't that be taken care of? Like, do we have to, like, have a civil war over it?
All right, if you're putting your faith in a higher power to
Yeah,
to handle that.
Exactly. Like, you can't. It's just like, one of the things in the Constitution is a separation of state in church,
Say, yeah.
and I'm behind a car from South Carolina today, and it says South Carolina in God We Trust, and it's on its tag. And I'm like, and I'm pretty sure wasn't South Carolina the last state to drop their Confederate part of their flag?
Could have been.
I'm pretty sure it was. So
I pass a couple of them when I drive.
Oh,
through
you!
North Carolina.
I pass Confederate flags all the time,
Wow.
and to me, it's just like,
Just can't be on state buildings, I think, was the ruling, right? That was the thing. Private citizens can still fly it, I think. It's not like Germany where it's a crime to fly the swastika in any way.
yeah. But we've been able to bring those back. I think at the last Disney rally, we had some swastikas show up.
Yes, I think they're
Always nice.
I think about 11 people. Let's see, Mississippi
Was
was the last one. All right. 2003 was the year on that. Kev, I wanted to ask you something. I'm working with X-Pac on his book, and he recounted a story about a near head-on collision in the snow, leaving Newark, heading to a show in Liberty, New York, which is up like in the Catskills. He said it was a TV taping in a high school gym where like the fucking hoops were visible in the corners.
Not only that, it was 3 hours of Raw back when we only did an hour, and in the middle of this high school gym,
the clock,
it's a fucking giant clock.
The big round analog clock.
I mean, giant, probably 5 feet, and it's got the wrong fucking. It's just like, oh Jesus! Like you would think.
These were tough times for WWE.
Yeah, you would think that they would.
Years.
Yeah, that they would have, maybe put a black tarp over it that said Raw. No, nothing. Just fuck it.
And it aired. I got to find this show.
It aired.
It's got to be out. It's got to be out there on the network. But the thing about it that kid was talking about was, you guys are all sitting around in the Holiday Inn in Newark, and like the snow's starting to pile up.
We had a Lumina van.
You rented it, right? That
Yeah.
was your rental.
Yeah.
A Lumina van. And everyone's like, oh, fuck, who's going to drive? And kid's logic that got him the keys was, I'm from Minnesota. So you threw him the keys, thinking that he could navigate snow better than everybody else.
Yeah.
You can take it from here.
Oh, so, I mean, and we're not talking just snow either, man. We're talking that northeast snow where, like, each flake is the size of your fist. Like you can feel them. Like it's like snowing jellyfish. It's fuck. And we've been on the road. I'm sure we're probably in the 30s of days on the road, and we're going up to Liberty. Okay, this is before GPS and all that shit.
Right.
So we're sitting there with the fucking Avis map. And I had a fucking USA Today map that had all the sporting, like every arena and every, but of course Liberty High School wasn't on it. So
No.
we're just trying to get to Liberty so we can hey buddy somebody. Hey, where's the high school?
Right. Spectrum, Boston Garden,
Yeah.
Madison Square Garden, no Liberty High School.
No Liberty. So, and this is a new one. This is a new one on the list. We haven't, this is after, like, this is when the sandwiches we're in full sandwich mode now.
Oh yeah.
So
the
we're
bologna
running
blowouts for lunch.
we're running some shit towns. So we're driving and we come up to a crest, and I'm the co-pilot. And as soon as we get to the top, the wind's blowing, and I can see that this entire ridge that we're going over is black ice. So before I can say, kiddo, that's black ice, we're in a fucking spin. I mean, spinning. We hopped the medium, and now we're going into oncoming traffic.
Right.
And there's a car coming right at us, and I reach over and I kind of pull the wheel a little bit, and the car's coming at us, and then we kind of swerved a little bit. And if you remember those Luminas, they had that front end that looked like a cow catcher, and this car catches it and just goes like a Joey Chitwood on a ramp. It takes off, and I remember turning and making eye contact with Shawn Michaels. Like as I'm turning, I make eye contact with Shawn as we both watch this car land on its hood and the top of its car, and it's spinning as it's going down the opposite side of this hill.
Sean said it was like the scene from Top Gun where the one
Yes.
goes upside down and looks down into Tom Cruise. You see the driver from the other cars.
And then at that point,
right
now
above you.
now the next thing we've got to do is we got a semi coming at us.
Right.
So I just jerk the wheel. We go up over and hit a tree, probably, I don't know, probably 3.5 feet, 4 feet across tree, right dead center of this van. And I don't remember any airbags going off or anything either.
Huh.
But I jam we all, of course, all had our seatbelts on. And I remember that we got out, and I mean, of course, the thing wasn't drivable. But back in the day, I had a Diners Club card. And if you had a Diners Club card and you rented a vehicle, a rental car, on a Diners Club card, you automatically had a loss damage waiver. So I would rent every vehicle, and the guys would give me, they'd take advances every night, and at the end of the loop, they'd just pay me cash for whatever the car was going to be, which was great because I'd get the cash and then go home and write the van off.
Right.
You know, so I was.
But doesn't, when you guys get out, it doesn't Bam Bam roll up?
Eventually, Bam Bam rolls up and he stops, and Bam Bam had a Bronco, and we all somehow got in that Bronco, and Bam Bam took us to. I don't know if we. I'm sure the cops had the cops had to come.
He
and
said
all
the cops came, wrote the whole thing, but the car wasn't drivable, so you guys just got in with Bam Bam. Like the other driver's trying to use his phone, and Bam Bam was like, I'm not going to let you use your phone. I got to pay my minutes.
That's back when Bam Bam had a brick. And the guy said, "Hey, can I use my phone?" Fuck no, you can't use my phone. And they I think it was an Avis vehicle that we smashed, and they brought a flatbed and got it. Now you would think, like me and Triple H smashed one going from Montreal to Boston. We smashed a car, and they came and brought it. They flatbedded us a Lumina the next day. We made it to this hotel. Paul was sick as fuck, and they brought us a replacement rental car right there. But they didn't do that at that point. I guess they figured, you know, in that weather, fuck us. But Bammer. I think that was after Bam Bam almost got me and Scott killed, so we called it even.
At the liquor store or the gas station?
Yeah,
whatever it
in
was.
Sacramento. So.
Yeah, that was a great one. Stiff One of the Week. Welcome to the Stiff One of the Week. This week brought to us by Manscaped. They can help with your stiff one. You know, if you haven't heard already.
Optically.
If it's Smooth Sack Summer, in case you haven't heard. Okay, when you're playing in the summer sun, make sure you are scaped from pubes to bum. That's right, this is the summer to keep your balls cool while still looking hot with Manscaped. They're the leaders in the below the waist grooming, making sure we all have a ball this summer by giving our pants partners everything they need to stay fresh. All right, dive in head first 20% off and free shipping with the code Kliq. If you don't know what I'm talking about, the Performance Package 4.0 has everything you need to prepare that summer bod. Ultimate grooming bundle for you. That Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, man, that is cutting edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to the advanced skin safe technology. All right, the Lawnmower 4.0 has 7,000 RPM motor. All right, the new multifunction on-off switch can engage travel lock. You told me, Kevin, that the travel lock is very important.
Yes.
Throwing in your bag and doing the road. Did I mention it's waterproof? Okay, it's waterproof. Beach, lake, shower. This razor will devour even the strongest pubes. Don't forget all the other items in the line. The Crop Preserver Ball Deodorant I'm a fan of. I love the boxers. I have MANSCAPED boxers that are boxer briefs, actually, that are great. And they give you the travel bag, too. All right, here's what you're going to do. You're going to get 20% off and free shipping when you use the code KLIQ, K-L-I-Q, at manscaped.com. That's 20% off plus free shipping when you use the code KLIQ at manscaped.com. It's smooth sack summer. Boys, get on board or get left behind. Thank you, Manscaped, for jumping in and taking this week's Stiff One of the Week.
So what did you call their promotion?
Smooth sack summer.
Are they going to get Bananarama to sing that?
It's a smooth sack summer.
It's a smooth sack summer.
Leaving me here on my own. Very good.
They were hot.
Big pop for the Nash song. Who was that? Whoever early on requested more. You just got it in the form of the ball shaving going on. This, Jen, hello, Jen, says OMG, Smooth Sack Summer. She's enjoying, not the song she remembered from her youth, no doubt. Okay, I loved some of those blown promos that we were showing with Mene Gene. And so this is Gene.
I love the Kamala is one of my favorites.
Kamala was great. For people who don't know, Gene would have to stand there. What was it, Kev? 3-4 hours?
Oh, God.
5 hours? And you guys stepped in and out. Gene had to fucking stand there for every single one. Different cities, different matches. Try to look engaged for everyone.
Yeah, those market specifics were just, oh, my God.
Yeah, the market-specific promos, right. So I don't know how he held it together. So there were plenty of times he didn't, and so we get our hands on
That's why he went through 3 livers, 5 kidneys,
14 packs of cigarettes a day, a few scotches.
Yeah, God.
So this
what
is
a great fucker.
I particularly loved when he would try to keep it together and he'd do that whole like rubbing his lip thing, but you knew he was laughing. This one he loses to the point where he's got to leave. And Sgt Slaughter just takes the mic because he knows what's going on and leans into the camera, and Gene runs away. So this is Sgt Slaughter and Gene, circa, I don't know, 1984, 1985.
Anybody's going to come out here and put down Thanksgiving or America, and especially you're not going to come out here and spit on the country where thousands...
The soil.
The thousands of military people that lay in the soil. Not only military, but my own mother lays in the soil of America. And you're spitting on her grave when you do that. So you remember this, Iron Cheek. When that match starts, all the people are going to hear the national anthem. And they're going to be standing loud, and they're going to be standing proud and tall. And they're going to hear
so
what it's like to be an American.
He's just handed Slaughter the mic and left.
Iron Cheek, that I'm coming for business. And they're going to hear the Marine hymn, and that's when they're going to see me. And that's when you're going to see me, Iron Cheek. I'm going to come after you like I've never done before. And then, when it's all over, after they play the national anthem, after they play the Marine hymn, then we're going to play your song, Iron Cheek, on your way out of Fresno's Convention Center. And you know that song? It's called Taps. Taps. We're going to play your song, Iron Cheek. Taps. As you were. Straighten up your act, boy, or you're going to have to go down and do some push-ups. Do you hear me?
I thank you very much. Sgt Slaughter, a week from tomorrow night, here in Fresno.
Sarge kept it together for the most part, except for the very end.
Well, it's easier if you're fucking talking, you know. It's the guy that's got to
stand on this. I wish Gene was around more. I would love to have done something with Gene. Never got to do anything with Gene. Loved it. Big regrets.
I got to travel with him quite a bit.
You told me, I think you told me a story on one of the kayfabe shows about, like, you guys were stuck for like 3 hours on a delayed flight, and you sat and had a few scotches with Gene in the morning, and
I was see, I can't drink scotch in the morning, so I was drinking vodka tonics.
Oh,
Gene was
practically chocolate milk.
Yeah, Gene was drinking tonics. I used to always think that, you know, tonic had like no calories. Like, tonic's got like 13 grams of carbohydrates and 6 ounces or something.
Tonic water? Was there sugar in it?
It has to be, right?
I just thought it was quinine and like seltzer.
No, it's got. Jericho and I were coming back from Portland one night, and I was getting ready for the Magic Mike thing, and we were sitting together, and yeah,
114 fucking calories.
So a glass of fucking wine has way less than that. 7 grams of sugars.
Yeah. So it's added sugar is exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead.
I wonder if they have diet tonic.
I've never seen it, but maybe it exists.
I don't know.
However, there are diet versions of tonic water. There are. All of you out there have been
Schweppes diet tonic. So you guys still want to get your vodka tonic on during the summer, you can get your diet and keep your carbs, keep your keto and check. But so Jericho says to me, he goes, I said, I'm doing no carbs. He goes, just drink vodka and water. I'm like, oh God, man, vodka and water. It tastes. He says, no, if we put lime in it, we'll be fine. So then he said that we got we got a diet Sprite. I think we actually got a Fresca.
And I love Fresca.
So we did like a splash of Fresca, water, and so we take off, and Hulk's in the front. He's in like the second row aisle, and Chris and I are probably maybe like third, fourth. We're like probably 2 rows back from Hogan, and I'm in the aisle, and Chris is in the window. And so we go up front. This is back, when you could still, get up and fucking walk around and shit. And so we've talked the flight attendants into go ahead and letting us just kind of sit up there and fucking, start pounding. And we're going through the vodka like it's nobody's business. And everybody's got a buzz. And we just kept, and finally they cut us off and told us we were being too loud and people were complaining, and and you get Hulk laughing. Hulk's a loud fucker, man, So they got us all, in our seats, and then boy, we landed in Atlanta, and Chris was hammered. Everybody was hammered, but Chris was really hammered, and it was just. But I'm just bringing it up because Chris taught me the
vodka water.
the vodka water. But Steve would drink. Austin would always drink vodka water.
Mm-hmm.
He was a vodka water guy.
Thank God for the legitimization of THC versus alcohol. People act like generally abject assholes after a couple of drinks. And, but you know what? If everybody would just put a little teaspoon of the gimmick in their diet Sprite or pop a gummy, vape or whatever, such a better vibe. Bunch of wrestlers on a plane, with a teaspoon of nano infused THC versus a copious amount of vodka or beer? Who would you rather be with?
I'd much rather be with. I've always said that was, if we could have had, but then again, when we were all going up and down the road and eating handful of pills and drinking booze, we'd always, man, if it give us our smoke back, we wouldn't do any of this shit. And then all those restrictions on the smoke kind of went away, especially during the NWO days. We weren't drug tested, and we just added that to the arsenal. Kid used to travel with a mason jar full of buds. I mean, we used to call him the king of pot.
That was the thing. You used to, if you tapped out, you had to call him king of pot. I know he used to do that with the Mexican guys. They would sit in the circle.
Oh yeah, Kid was the king of pot.
If they could tap out by telling him he was the king of pot. All right, Florida man or Jersey guy. I saw somebody post today that this was their favorite segment of the entire show on Twitter. I was kind of hoping it was the engaging conversation. Whoever you were, I don't remember your name.
No, we're too pilled up on sleeping pills.
Oh,
and
we're
benzos.
zonked.
Out of our minds.
Zonked. Well, listen, I'm not going to say that I'm not occasionally tired here. I don't think I play it off. But, I'm up at 5:15 every morning for Christ's sake. And
I am too, watching Suits.
yeah, he's still up from the night before on his 14th episode of Suits in that 24-hour period with a new lustful appreciation for Meghan Markle.
I do have a new lustful appreciation for her. Respectfully.
Okay, two headlines, two actual headlines. One, Florida man-centric, one Jersey guy-centric. Kevin, a stellar record at identifying who's the offender in each story. Let's see if he can defend that. The first one, man arrested in stolen Lamborghini with 3 juveniles pleads guilty to weapons charge. A lot going on there to unpack. Man arrested in stolen Lamborghini with 3 juveniles pleads guilty to weapons charge. And man uses stapler in an attempt to rob a Publix.
The second one's Florida man. I don't think you guys have Publix.
That is correct. That is correct once again. I was a little disappointed that Bad News Brown committed the offense in Publix. Do we not have any Publix? Even South Jersey?
I don't think so.
I know there's none by me, but I didn't know how far down that extended. But yeah, I mean that would be a good.
I was going Florida man because I'm thinking like, God, who would have a Lambo up in Jersey with that weather and those roads?
Those roads on your way to Liberty, New York, for Christ's sake.
Jesus.
But correct again. I want to drill into that the 3 juveniles. I don't know if there was anything lurid about that or it was just simply.
Well, I mean, you're gonna get pulled because you got 3. You got a 2-seater. You got fucking 4 people.
4 people in it and a gun.
Yeah, probably not that. Don't you wish that they could just like give people a sentence just on stupidity? Like
the judge can kind of add 6 months for being an
get
idiot.
6 months for being an idiot.
I think Hunter Biden would have gotten the additional. He would have had to do those 6 months, I think.
I just want to talk to his tax attorney. I want to know how he's paying $200K. No, he's not paying $200K. That's why he's not. He didn't pay anything. He made $3 million over the course of 2 years and did not pay $100,000 a year on the 1.5. That's, I mean, so what's he? He's in the 7% tax bracket.
It's a good deal.
Jesus.
Yeah.
That's what my wife saw that. She was so fucking pissed because she writes the quarterlies. She's like, "What the fuck? What?" I'm like, and it's not like we're idiots. It's not like we're not an S corp and have his. I mean, we do the best we can, but you get a check in your name. You're paying. You're paying taxes. Not everything goes to the corp.
And this is this plea agreement was overseen by a Trump-appointed judge, which doesn't necessarily mean that they'd be vindictive, but it's just funny to see the leniency, and then on top of it, a conservative judge.
I was surprised how quickly, in the Trump case, how quickly she set trial date.
Oh yes, Judge Eileen.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty quick.
Been up since 20 fucking hours. The name's escaping me. Yeah, so those were two recent developments in the legal wranglings in Washington. Something that cropped up this week that led me to looking for okay. So the furthest north Publix is that Delaware? I can't fucking see that. What is that?
Yeah, they actually found some top secret documents that Biden had left at that one in Delaware.
In Delaware, at the Joe Biden rest area. I can't see the state. It could be Maryland. I think it's Maryland. Right? We're in Maryland there. I see Washington. Okay, so furthest north is Maryland. All right, so you are correct. I guess we don't have any in Jersey.
Yeah.
The Sting Chris Jericho program intrigued me. Then I talked to you a little bit about it, and I realized I should have known better, maybe. The significance of the Sting and the promised Sting and Jericho program is that they've never been in a ring together.
Right.
And I would say, well, how is that possible? That's not possible. This is an oversight. I read, and I kept consistently seeing that it was true that they'd never shared a ring together. Now, I didn't think their generational gap was as big as I guess it is, actually, right? Jericho's probably my age, around 50, maybe 52, 51, something like that.
I know Steve's my age.
Okay, so then Sting's 63 or 64. So yeah, I guess almost 10 years would.
I mean, I look at the amount of times that I've been in the ring with Chris. I know we had that hair match. I don't know of how many times we worked besides that.
Yeah,
I think we may have had a few, but I know Scott wrestled Chris on Nitro.
But even, I mean, you were in WWE together, right? And then,
well, we were, yeah.
Well, yeah. WCW first and then WWE, right?
Yeah.
Right.
My first day at WCW was when our first TV that we went to, that was like an actual taped television, we were at Dalton, Georgia, and the three guys that were told to be there at noon or 11:30 or some shit. Mm-hmm. I know it was Scott and I showed up, and Chris Jericho showed up, and we sat around like three fucking boobs for 2 hours waiting for, I think Barry Windham showed up next, and he was office. We're like, oh, so this is show up whenever the fuck you want to, huh? Didn't take us long to take advantage of that. That mistake.
Once the Pirates realized that. So Jericho faced you twice in 2003, both times on Raw. First match May 12th, second match July 28th. Then there's a 6-man tag at Backlash, and then a hair versus hair match on.
Was he in that Elimination Chamber match with me?
Would that have been Backlash? No.
I don't know. Does it say Phoenix?
I don't have the city here. You can find out.
Orton was in it.
So you're still, all right, so you're Sting's age, or Sting's your age, and you've still been in the ring a bunch of times with Chris. But the question became...
Sting never was in New York, though.
Right. When were they together in company? Became the challenge there. Let's see. The tag was Triple H versus Goldberg, Chris Jericho, Shawn Michaels, Randy Orton, Kevin Nash. Yeah, I don't know if that was the Elimination Chamber. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that would have been the question when Sting and Chris were together somewhere. Never WWE. And then I'd have to see exactly when it was for WCW. So it got me thinking, how many people that were popular at the same time, even if there's some year difference, have you never been in the ring with? So I went through the list of like the top, whatever, 100 workers or 50 workers of the 90s. And I was going through, and I felt that there were a significant number that I don't remember you working. You might have on spot shows. I wouldn't know that. I mean, the random Raw here and there, if it was a squash or a quick match or a tag, I wouldn't remember. So I'm going to throw a few out. I want to see if you remember, and you guys can be ready on the thing there to find out if Kevin actually worked them. Ultimo Dragon.
No, I don't think so.
Okay. We'll see if we can confirm that. Abdullah?
No.
Okay. Kamala.
I was at ringside when Sean wrestled him as Diesel
Okay.
and interfered.
Gotcha. But never in the ring.
Not a singles match, but I went down.
Haku.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
Meng probably, right? When
He was Meng, and that was
Right.
that 6-man that went south in Shreveport that with the Nasty Boys.
Gotcha. Mike Rotunda?
Yes. Actually, my first house show match was with Mike in a tag
As IRS?
as no. it
Oh,
was
no,
WCW.
WCW. Right. Demolition.
Oh,
Not on the bus. We know you were on the bus with
Bill. Not Bill. I don't think I've been in a ring with Barry.
him. Maybe as Repo?
No.
No. Wow.
I think
okay.
I think the only time we were together is he was the golf guy.
Oh, God. What about that? Rick Martel.
I worked him in the Indies.
Okay. But never on TV.
No.
Let's see. Who's
Maybe
next?
Rumble?
Neidhart?
Yes.
Too Cold Scorpio.
I think early.
As like Flash, when he was Flash Funk?
Yeah. I think yeah, we had some one or two shots. They ran some B loops. It wasn't TV, but it was house shows.
Okay. Valentine?
God, I had to have. But then again, I think I was like a Royal Rumble type thing.
Oh, right. How about Steve Williams, Dr. Death?
No.
Interesting. Let's see who else. Here. Dreamer? Tommy Dreamer?
Yeah, I think Tommy and I worked at TNA.
Oh, I forget that.
I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure.
How about Kerry Von Erich?
No. But I did split a Placido with him in the Jetport elevator.
I bet you did. One of my favorite stories from the Todd is God book coming out on July 25th. Todd is working an indie. She's asked to bring his guys to an indie show in South Jersey, and he's got a book. Kevin Sullivan inexplicably leaves it's a convention in the day and then a card at night. Sullivan says the police are after him and he has to leave, so he leaves. So Todd goes to find a
Where they at?
in Philly.
Yeah, because that's where Sullivan and I got in that fight in front of Gino's, and they were trying to serve us.
You remember this?
Yes,
I should have fucking called you to find out why he had a
No, he kicked that fucking kid in the face with those cowboy boots.
Oh my god.
We beat the fuck out of him. I punched one or two guys. Sullivan was like a Tasmanian devil.
Did you get your cheesesteaks at least?
No, man, the fucking cops we had to fucking roll. We were in a limo smoking weed. It was like, I think we need to roll. I had blood on me. He had blood on him. It was like, and it wasn't ours. It was like, let's fucking roll.
Unbelievable. So anyway, he's got to replace him. So he goes to Kerry Von Erich, who's at the convention. He says, listen, we're going to do something cool. It's supposed to be Sullivan, but we want you to put on a hood. Come to the ring, start working the match, and we'll have Nancy pull the hood off. And, I mean, the crowd will pop. They're not going to be expecting Kerry Von Erich. They don't know who it's going to be, but it'll be you, blah, blah, blah. So after trying to explain to him about 10 times backstage, like why he's got to wear the hood, he's like, you're a surprise. No one's going to know it's you. It's a surprise. He's like, okay. He puts on the hood. He goes out to the ring, Kevin, in his jacket that says Kerry on the back.
Just visibly, he's a little bit larger than Kevin.
Well, no, they knew it wasn't Kevin, but they weren't saying who it was. It was going to be a surprise. And they said, but we don't want anyone to know who it is. So he wore his jacket with Kerry emblazoned on the
Just
back.
Those boots would have gave him away.
The fringe.
Yeah.
Honky tonk? Do you ever work honky?
Not that I can recall.
Okay. Tito Santana?
Yes.
Terry Funk?
Yes. I beat him for the commissionership in Cincinnati.
Oh, wow.
Finish was I powerbombed him through two steel chairs.
Nikita?
Koloff, yes.
Okay. Malenko?
No.
Okay, almost done. These are the ones I think that I couldn't remember Kevin working. Snuka?
No.
Okay. Rob Van Dam?
Yes.
Okay.
We wrestled each other and then wrestled as tag team partners.
Ricky Steamboat?
Yes. They were, he was with Shane Douglas. They were WCW tag champs for a little while. Me and Big Sky wrestled those guys in Macon TV.
Was Andre already done?
Done.
When you got in? Okay.
Yeah.
And actually dead probably shortly after.
No, he was still alive because I saw him at a Turner thing.
All right. So those were the notable names that I thought of that I never remembered seeing you work or hearing you work, in the vein of the Jericho Sting story. Do you know any offhand that I didn't name?
No, you have to realize though that Jericho got that mid card push with Ralphus. That whole time, Sting was up in the fucking rafters wrestling nobody.
Right.
You know, he was just involved. He was just involved with Hulk.
Mm-hmm.
And then he became Wolfpack with us, and then we kind of wrestled. But it's just
so hard to accept. There was never like a 6-man or 8-man tag or one of those bullshit pay-per-view things where there's 10 guys in the ring, and it just literally never happened. Which was shocking.
Because Chris left with Dean and Perry and Eddie and that group. They all left after the Cincinnati pay-per-view, and then Chris did that. That's when he did the wide Y2K gimmick.
Mm-hmm.
He did that whole thing.
It's just surprising with as much TV as you guys were producing, all those hours every week. That there could have been anybody in a company that never that never touched. Shocking. You know what's not shocking? Is if you drop for this high spot of the show, I would just like to tell you, if you drop just a single teaspoon of your nano-infused Delta 9 TH sippin' syrup, our guy Mickey Ray Sinatra promises you that the Get Blitzed Lit Aid will change your life without question. Kevin and some of my buddies have tried that Delta 9 sippin' syrup, and this is some super potent stuff. Okay, it's like THC on steroids. It's a syrup. You mix it into a beverage. This is just maybe a tea or perhaps like a white soda, and with as little as a teaspoon. It's a fast onset, 5 to 15 minutes. Nano-infused means it goes right into your bloodstream, okay? Bypassing the breakdown in the liver. So it works like alcohol. This is not gas station Delta 8 bullshit, boys. This is the real deal. THC Delta 9, the THC you get from the marijuana. If you're in Maryland, you can stop by. You can visit a Stay Lit smoke shop. But for the rest of us, it is legal to be shipped right from the Get Blitzed website to all 50 states without a medical card as long as you're over 21. And right now, you're going to save 15% by entering the code KLIQ, K-L-I-Q, at checkout. So go to get-blitzed.com. That's get-blitzed.com. And try the Delta 9 THC sippin' syrup. People are talking about it. It's changing the game, guys. Get Blitzed, okay? Go to get-blitzed.com. Don't forget the promo code KLIQ to save your 15%. And we thank Get Blitzed for coming on board. Kevin, you need a break?
No, I just, are we still on?
Yeah.
No, I just wanted to say that somebody said that I was irresponsible because I did a tablespoon. And I said that I did a tablespoon. So, and a teaspoon is about 14 milligrams of THC. That's about what so. But I also stated last week that, like anything, before you, if you're going to indulge in anything in life that's going to alter you, do it at home. Be smart. The thing is, it's not like to me, like one of the things about gummies, you do a 30 milligram gummy and you wait a half hour and you're like, is this thing ever going to kick in? You do another one and then you're baked Alaska.
No. Yeah.
Where this is about a 15-minute, you kind of know where you're at. You can gauge it.
Right.
But my answer to this guy that I typed back was, if I was to say that when I get out on the interstate that I set my cruise at 78, I wouldn't expect somebody that's never driven before to get in a car, go out on the interstate, and set the cruise on 78. It's
Correct.
like, it's just, that's common sense. So if you're that much of an idiot where you're just going to, if I tell you to drink, I think Joey Diaz he ate a 300 milligram cookie on Rogan. I mean, if I ate a 300 milligram cookie, I would die.
Some of his podcast, not Rogan's, but Joey's podcast, he had some people get so fucked up, and he puts them out there on. They have to like leave. One girl had to lay down for a while, and there was one unreleased one that he finally put out with Pauly Shore, who is so battered. Joey used to put out what he called stars of death. They were inedible. I don't know what percentage of it. He said
that's what he took one of those on this thing. It's 600 milligrams.
That was, oh my God. He would eat a point sometimes. He said some of these people would sit there and they'd pop the whole fucking gummy. And if you want to become uncomfortable watching someone so uncomfortable they can barely talk, find the Pauly Shore appearance.
Oh, that's a horrible feeling when but the thing with the nano is that it's you can always dose up. You can always dose up.
Right.
Like me, like the last time we did one of these, I think I did it like a tablespoon. But I also did a tablespoon like 2.5 hours before we went on the show. I had food in my stomach, and I weigh 300 fucking pounds.
Yes.
So there are variables.
Yeah.
If I was to tell you to go drink 14 fucking beers and drive home, it'd be irresponsible.
Right.
For you,
Right.
because you fucking should know that fucking you can't drink 14 beers and drive home.
Correct.
I, on the other hand, of drinking 14 beers, got pulled over, blown in a breathalyzer, blown .02.
It helps to be built like fucking Godzilla.
Exactly, and you have metabolism. So
Ask Nash. Hashtag Ask Nash. We promise you access to Kevin Nash. Kevin doesn't deal with just anybody. Okay, so this is the place to get to him. Our live audience, please feel free. Get your questions ready. Christopher Bodley says, Kev, would you ever consider investing in the city of Detroit? There's some major opportunity there to give back while making a nice profit. Now, what would that mean? Like some kind of real estate?
I have pieces. I have some stuff up there. I mean,
okay.
I'm involved with with Hyman Cannabis, which is that's a Detroit company, Michigan company.
A much more indirect way, I think that would be. I don't know. I think he means like literally in the city of Detroit, maybe refurbishing some buildings.
They're smoking my weed in Detroit. I promise you that. I went to 10 dispensaries all within the Metro Detroit and in Detroit, and they got my shit right there. And
on no other show can you say to somebody, would you consider investing in your home city of Detroit, who's undergone a terrible plight? And he goes, my fucking weed is smoked on every corner in that fucking city. What are you talking about? I'm going to the pay window.
Hey, you know what? When I was a young kid, I did my own comic book. Well, I did a couple of issues of my own comic book. I always wanted to have my own comic book, and I always wanted to have my own strain of weed. So
2 dreams come true.
That's it. And last night I had a dream. I did a movie with Matt Damon, and I got an Academy Award for supporting actor.
What was the part? Do you remember anything about it?
I know that I had this long curly, I almost looked like Stern. Like my hair was kind of sternish, but much longer. And it was one of the coolest dreams I ever had, because every time I'd wrap a fucking scene, he'd be like, fucking dude, you're just killing it. I mean, Matt Damon has just put me over left and right, and then out of nowhere, it's like we go to the screening, and he's like, he wants to, because he's gonna get nominated. He wants us to be like nominated for like both as like lead actors. Like
sounds like you're gonna marry him at the end of the film. Was he calling you Ben by any chance in the dream?
No. But then the thing was that right at the end of my dream, they told me I was going to be on the Kimmel show, but I didn't get on. So I thought that was kind of weird. But no, it was crazy. It was like I woke up thinking to myself, like, fuck, like me and Dan, like, I'm fucking boys with Matt Damon. This is great. This would be good for my acting career at 64.
We put this in the dream analysis. I think it was just because you were anticipating working with me tonight, maybe.
Maybe.
Last night. I was kind of filling the Damon
maybe
role.
I was.
And you are fucking you're killing it tonight, by the way. I just want to tell you. You're fucking.
Think I'll get an award tonight?
You're on. Yeah, we're gonna get one together after this.
Great.
Jared Finelli, what impact, if any, does or will the writers and SAG strike have on pro wrestling? Does WWE discourage talent from joining SAG to prevent it? Discourage? They don't even fucking recognize it.
No, they don't, and it's not like you can just go, hey, I want to join SAG. It's not like ARP. You don't turn 50 and get to join.
I don't know. I think nowadays that was one of the things with the merger when SAG and AFTRA, not to be too geeky here, but when SAG and AFTRA merged, one of the things I was against was the ease of AFTRA. They had a much higher base, membership base than we did. There was some exclusivity to SAG, but I mean, they sold it with, look at how much the pension will go, would increase and all that. So I guess ultimately it was a good move, but I was initially against AFTRA coming over. What about from the audience? Do we have anyone from the audience with any love for our friend Kevin? Brandon Douglas. Hello, Brandon. Who was the one person you've never wrestled but wrestled that you wish you could have? Maybe someone from my list earlier. Maybe the Honky Tonk Man.
I mean, it's always going to be Andre.
But do you think he would have had a good match with Andre? I mean, historically, cool to be in the ring with Andre the Giant, but God, what would you do for 15 minutes?
Sell.
I was going to say, take the fucking arm bar, the chin lock, and all that.
Let me think. I wish I'd have had that match with Punk. I never got that match with Punk.
Right.
I wish I could have had that. You know what? I've been blessed, man. I went out for 8 or 9 years of my life and was across from a Hall of Famer almost every night. So, I don't have too many.
Yeah.
I guess maybe Matt Damon. Maybe wrestle.
Oh yeah, you could
wrestle Matt Damon.
I see like a chain wrestling match, like Matt wrestling.
Yeah.
No pun intended. Let's see. Too Hard and Fierce. Did you ever work Terry Gordy?
No.
Good name. Hayes. Any of the Freebirds?
Maybe Michael.
Michael.
Maybe in the tag or something.
Would you ever have wrestled Abby before the?
I was scheduled to wrestle in some kind of Halloween Havoc thing. Abby was supposed to one man gang, Diamond Stud, Oz, and then I got pulled to wrestle somebody else.
Well, there's a main event lineup, huh?
Yeah.
So you never did Abby.
No.
Would you have gigged for Abby?
Yeah.
Okay. Cav Manning, gentlemen, always a good time to talk cock. Kevin, was there anyone known for being a pecker checker in the locker room that all the boys kind of knew would sneak a peek? And was anyone ever called out when you caught someone's eyes dart down quickly?
No.
No one had the rep?
Nope. And I mean, on top of all that, man, I'm just, I grew up in a world where there weren't fucking dividers between each urinal, and when men were men.
Locker rooms,
Yeah, I've been in the locker rooms my whole life. I've been an athlete my whole life. It's like, who cares? And on top of that, I was also in the cup era. When you wore cups,
we talked about that, right? What happened
shit
to
was
the
all,
cup?
all matted and fucked up anyway, so it wasn't like you were coming in with any kind of. And there was no manscaping back then.
No.
I mean,
no attention paid to such
no.
things. And the cup, and then the outer rim of the cup was like a rubber, or foam, like a hard foam, but the pressure against you, it did nothing to alleviate the.
No, we had a cheerleader that wasn't she was hotter than fuck, but she wasn't the brightest thing on earth, and they were practicing while we were doing 2 days in football, and we were giving her a ride home, and she was like, this is back even when that was eat a salt tablet and drinking water was a sign of weakness, and she was just dehydrated, and she was like, and my buddy had his jock strap with his cup in it, and he told her you needed to breathe. There's like an oxygen gimmick.
Fucking way,
and she
it looks like a mask.
Yeah, and she put the gimmick on. She was in the back seat, and I was just fucking. I had to hold my dick to not piss. I was laughing so hard.
Tremendous. Mungo. I just saw a clip from an old Nitro with Kev coming down the ramp drinking a beer. He gets to the ring, flips off Goldberg, gives him a fuck you, and jackknifes him. Then jackknifes Steiner, stares down Booker, grabs a beer, and leaves. Give us the story.
No idea.
It's an interesting segment.
Monday,
right?
must have heard fucking train kept rolling as my music was playing in my head, and said, "I'll keep this going."
All right, wish we knew Mongo, but it was just that time, man.
Yeah.
WCW years. Let's get.
I guess that was my way of taking off the fucking AEW thing off the microphone. I came down with a beer.
You didn't do that often. I never remember seeing that. So that might have been the only time. What do we have in the audience? I know we have a few more. Hard and Fierce. Cleaner food, Waffle House or Dennys? Excellent question.
You can eat clean at Waffle House. It's getting harder because it's almost like Waffle House. Like today, like the guy, they don't do poached eggs anymore. So that now you're getting some kind of low, like, I'm gonna say Dennys. Because Waffle House, they fucking piss and moan if you get egg whites. Like, what good are egg whites if you put oil in the bottom of the pan to start the scramble?
Well, that's the thing, is that
it's like that low melt shit they use. It's like, fuck. Like, I ate there today. It was. I think that's why I feel so fucking bad today. I ate fucking Waffle House.
Yeah.
I'll probably have explosive diarrhea tonight.
Even if you order like the egg whites, that's not necessarily a queue at these places. It
used to be, though. It used to tell the guy, "Can I get egg whites? Could you use the waffles fucking spray on the pan?" Because that was almost like Pam. And then they would, then you get chicken. You get grilled chicken, have them rinse the chicken before they grill it, so you get all that fucking salt and shit that's marinated in those package. And then you get ice. You just have them steam your hash browns. So you put the hash browns on the gimmick, put a half a cup of ice on top of it, and they steam them with a lid. And that used to be no problem. No problem whatsoever for them to do that.
Well, that's. I didn't think that would have been a. But you see, you have to ask for all that. You're saying, right?
Well, but that's. To eat clean anywhere, you've got to ask.
But a lot of places up here very, very conscious of that, so I feel like it'd be a little easier up here. Ryan Chenoweth asks, any longest yard stories with Stone Cold or any of the other cast?
I've told this a ton of times, but like everybody, went down every night and drank at this. We basically took over this lodge in Santa Fe, and Steve and I would go to the liquor store and go upstairs and mix our own drinks and come down and hang out instead of paying, $11 a fucking check. Because I think our per diem was $75. And Steve and I said when we got, because Steve and I have always enjoyed being cheap, and it was like, we're not spending. We used to be not on the call sheet, get up together, drive in, and go eat breakfast, and then drive back to the thing, and then go out and have lunch, and then go to the gym, and then go catch dinner. I mean, it was like we need to fuck it, man. And it was, anyone that was on that longest yard, man, it was like the food was like a training camp. I mean, you get up in the morning and have egg whites and prime rib. I mean, it's like,
wow.
Yeah.
How long were you out there for that?
We were in Santa Fe maybe 45 days, and then we were in LA for like another 60.
Wow. 100 days?
Yeah, I take because when you shoot football,
That was the longest shoot.
well, I mean, you think about it though. So you've got your crowd, and they're all extras. So they're coming in, and you're lucky if you get 7,000 people in an area, to hold. So you're giving away TVs and everything you can, and anything you shoot this way, you got to turn around and move all that equipment on the other side, all those people, and shoot it the other way.
Mm-hmm.
And you're doing that on everything.
Yeah.
So I mean, and we used all the tricks of the trade that the NFL Films had at the time. We had NFL film guys working with the wires and everything else,
How to shoot the action.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's some good. I mean, there's some excellent camera work in that as far as action and slow mo and that. I remember that one catch that Michael Irvin makes. That's just unbelievable. A fingertip catch and yeah. So.
Excellent. Gary King, love the show. Gets me through Toronto traffic. What are your thoughts on the Raptors' new coat?
I don't even know who they got.
Okay, I don't either.
It's too early. It's too early. I'm just excited that the big kid's going to get drafted. Go down to San Antonio. I'm looking forward to watching him play.
Okay. Anything from the audience to wrap up? We have a couple more. Too hard and too fierce. Nash, is it helpful when fans share condolences, or does it feel kind of hollow? Interesting.
Oh, I think because I talk about it, like I bring it up, and it seems that I don't know if we were on the air when we talked about this earlier, but I think that one of the things is I think people like to know. This isn't like, I think one of the things about this show is we're real.
Yeah.
And I it's very hard for me. My energy levels are very low because like I said, I just had my son's birthday on the 12th, and I turned around and had Father's Day on Sunday. So it's just like I'm very spiraled right now. I mean, I'm just, I'm not gonna, off myself. I make sure I have my seatbelt on, but I'm just, I went and had my blood work done today. I'm doing everything because I don't want to leave my wife, high and dry. But at the same time, it's just, man, it's fucking hard. It's hard. It's hard to find a reason, especially with this strike looming. There's no Hollywood work. There's no, I'm gonna have to. I talked to I text my personal appearance guy Gilbert last night with Prime Time and told him, I said, I'm gonna probably have to, I'm gonna have to get out and do some shows because it's just hard. It's hard to Groundhog Day, down the stairs every morning with and just walk by my kids Martin and walk by where he sat and at the piano and worked out songs, and it's just hard. It's very, very difficult, and so it's just
the work helps.
Well, yeah, just and I told my wife, I said, man, if I get a decent gig and sometimes maybe someplace you want to go to, I said, well, you can go, I can sit down there and do my work for 4 or 5 hours. We can go have dinner and we can hang out and fuck around with some others,
Yeah, that'd be good actually. Maybe she'll take you up on that.
Except for the dog. The dog's the only problem.
Do you have a sitter that?
Well, my mother-in-law.
Okay. Well, that's what mother-in-laws are for Christ's sake. Yeah,
but he's a very attached, little dog. So.
WWE ECW says, come to Philly. I'd love to meet you at a signing.
I can't even remember the last time I've been to Philly for a signing.
What do we got? Anybody else? Steve-O? Anybody
Please
else
come to L.A. She said no. You come home to me.
The Harry Chapin rendition of Taxi still remains my favorite.
I
to
rushed
date.
through it. I've got to.
Oh, I seem to remember you taking plenty of time.
No, I rushed through it. I was trying to get. I didn't.
It was a Harry's commercial, and the trigger was a, "How are you, Harry?"
She said, "How are you, Sue?"
You were off
Through
to
the
the races.
too many miles and the too little smiles, I still remember you. You said she was going to be an actress, and I was going to learn to fly. She took off to find the footlights. I took off to find the sky. And there she's acting happy inside her handsome home. And me, I'm driving in my taxi, taking tips and getting stoned. I go flying so high when I'm stoned. Then falsetto. Baby, so high.
You're stepping all over T. This is usually when we play T's song. And
I can't touch Sophia, so.
Kliq This is a production of Butch and Sundance Media, produced in association with Podcast Heat. Producer Steve Kaufman, graphics by Dominic D'Angelo. Created by Tristan Nash, Kevin Nash, Sean Oliver. Title sequence and audio edit by Wesley Burleson. Theme song by Dale Oliver. Technical research by Tristan Nash. Copyright 2023 Butch and Sundance Media. Kev, if you want to do another one,
it's going to be our 52nd.
It's 52. So this is our 1 year anniversary, honey.
They said it wouldn't last.
We've been fucking around for about 20 years, though.
Yeah.
We only made it real a year ago.
Yeah. So.
All right, y'all.
Peace.